Yes, indeed, you read that title right. JD Vance is suggesting that legal immigrants should be deported, because when it's a close race, when it's a really close race and you have a really racist, homogenous voting base, you want to double and quadruple down on things that are unpopular with the majority of people. No, of course, that's not what you want to do, but it's the strategy that Donald Trump and JD Vance are taking. I mean, it's not as if racism is something new. It's not like this is something new that Donald Trump and his ilk have discovered, but the way that they've been just tripling down on it has been ridiculous. I mean, they're still talking about Haitians eating people's pets in Springfield, Ohio, even though we know that hasn't happened. And the most outrageous thing about that to me, in my opinion, is that JD Vance is the senator of Ohio and he doesn't give a damn about his own people there. So let's check out this and see what my man's JD Vance was talking about when he stopped through in Arizona the other day. This is from the Latin Times. Senator J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's running mate in the 2024 presidential election, made a series of campaign stops in the battleground state of Arizona on Tuesday, further raising the stakes of the GOP stance on immigration by suggesting a plan to not only end key programs which provide legal residency to hundreds of thousands of immigrants, but also deporting those who had benefited from them. Again, because this country, we got to keep it as white as possible. We got to keep it as pale as possible, even though this has always been a nation of immigrants because this is stolen land, right? But, that's besides the point, I suppose. First off, Vance criticized what he called mass parole and mass grants of temporary protected status at a campaign event in Peoria. There, he argued that such programs should not be used to provide broad legal protections. Of course, you're going to have people fleeing from tyranny, but that happens on a case by case basis, not by waving the magic government wand, said Vance, according to New York Times. Okay, whatever the hell that means. Over 850,000 immigrants have legal residency through the Temporary Protected Status Program in the U.S., created by Congress in 1990 for people fleeing war and other crises in their home countries. It currently grants legal protection to immigrants from 16 countries, with most coming from Venezuela, El Salvador, and Haiti. Later on in Tucson, Vance addressed questions about whether the policies he mentioned earlier would apply to recipients of deferred action for childhood arrivals, a program that protects individuals brought to the U.S. as children from deportation. While Vance did not directly mention DACA, he did say that, quote, we've got to be willing to deport them. We got to get them out of here. And again, like the biggest issue with this is that Donald Trump's base, a huge portion of them, this is what they want. They think that this is going to make all their problems go away. If you're mad about the amount of money that you make, you're mad that you don't have savings, you're mad that you can't afford health care and education, you're mad about practical things, blame the immigrants. Don't blame the billionaires who fund the government. Don't blame the donor class. Don't blame the politicians or corporate America. No, 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 no. Blame immigrants who have no power and just want to work jobs that Americans refuse to touch. So obviously deporting all these people would tank the economy because there's so many key important jobs and positions that Americans just don't want to do that undocumented immigrants do regularly. And they know this. Vance's comments echoed Trump's previous statements aimed at federal programs for immigrants, including his recent pledge to revoke the CHNV parole program and plans to end the CPB One app, which he equated to a phone app for smuggling illegals, of course. He's also specifically targeted the temporary protected status program when referring to Haitian immigration, which he has attacked time and time again after the infamous, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. That famous line that Donald Trump busted out. In all, up to 2.7 million individuals could lose protection from deportation, according to a recent report by the National Foundation for American Policy, which draws on data from the Department of Homeland Security. While addressing reporters, Vance also highlighted broader concerns with the U.S. Mexico border and vowed stronger action against drug cartels, criticizing the Biden administration for its border policies. Vance expressed confidence that a Trump presidency would implement tougher measures to address border security and immigration enforcement. Quote, he says, I promise you that cavalry is coming. And when Donald Trump is president, we're going to kick the cartel's asses, and we're going to do it for you and for every person in this room. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think it's ridiculous to believe that Donald Trump and JD Vance will absolutely attempt to deport people, but how are they going to round up all of these people? How are they going to do it? Are they just going to like kidnap them in the middle of the night? What are they going to do? You know, I don't think we're going to find out because I'm pretty sure that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are going to win this thing when it all is said and done. But, we just had to go ahead and go through that because the racism is piling on like never before, at least in modern time. Well, what am I talking about? There's been racism around since as long as this country was founded, but it's just coming out of the shadows because Donald Trump gives people permission to be their worst selves. Hey, now. Thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it and really helps to support what we do here.